Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to just spend a few minutes talking about something that I know is a hobby that a lot of you are into if you're into full-size cars and trucks. You're probably like me in the sense that you started out when you were younger building model cars and trucks, or maybe collecting model cars and trucks, collecting die-cast, Hot Wheels, plastic models that you assemble, what have you. Probably some combination of all of that, which is definitely true for me. When I was a kid, I collected die-cast cars of all kinds. I was fairly young when I started building plastic model kits, first the snap-together kind, and then eventually moving on to more complex ones. It's a hobby that I still enjoy. I don't spend as much time consistently with it as I used to, but I still do it a lot, both kinds, collecting die-cast cars and building plastic models. And I wanted to share with you a local place here in DeKalb, Illinois that I think is a really kind of a hidden gem for anyone who's into building model cars. Start with just to define what we're talking about here on the hood of my full-size truck. I have a few examples of things that I enjoy. This is a vintage 95 GMC Sonoma, like an S10 kit that I got a hold of a while back. We actually got a hold of two of these. Owen and I each got one, and we're building them differently. Mine's not quite finished. I believe his is. But one of the things that's really cool about building models is not only finding new kits that are being put out by companies, but also finding new old stock that's never been built. I really enjoy that. Some people collect them. I actually like to build them. Anyway, so that's a really nice find, a 1/25th scale find from a while back. I've also got this one that was in progress. When we ended up moving a few months ago, I was in the middle of swapping out some wheels, but this is a kit that I really like a lot. I've been practicing some rust and weathering techniques on here. I'll show you a little bit more of a close-up of that pretty soon here. And here's an example of a couple of 1/25th scale models that to me have kind of an interesting history and a kind of a dualistic side of what I like to do. This 65 El Camino right here is a fairly new kit, actually. I mean, new in terms of it was bought new in the box just a few years ago. I built it, chose the paint color and all that kind of stuff. And I really like how this turned out, especially that period correct topper. But this other one back here has a longer history with me. This 57 Nomad is something that I first built when I was probably 14 years old. And it was originally yellow, and I built it just sort of as it was intended to be built in the original kit. And then it stuck with me over the years. It's been around. I've rebuilt it a couple of times. This is the latest iteration where I was messing around with putting some other parts on it, trying some rust, some different techniques. It's obviously intended to look like sort of a beater, maybe drag and drive style car. It's got an engine that I believe was originally out of, I honestly don't remember where that engine came from, but it was not originally with this model. It's got a blown small block. Anyway, not a really well-refined kit, but I love taking old models, rebuilding them, changing them over the years. I've managed to hang on to a few from when I was younger, and that's a good example of one right there. So I did want to show you this square body right here, which is sitting on the hood of an actual full-size square body currently. This is a kit that was, I wish I could tell you originally what this kit was. I believe it was a plow truck, and I bought it at a garage sale in the box unbuilt, but it did not have all the parts with it. So I sort of started trying to piece together what was there and then figure out some other parts. I decided I wanted to build it as a beater sort of yard truck that had done a lot of work in its life. I did some denting on the tailgate with a knife that was heated up, painted the bumpers white, gave it a lot of nice sort of weathering touches that I was practicing here. Started working on how to do some rust on the cab corners and the wheel arches and all that. This truck did have wheels and tires on it. Like I said, when we were moving recently, I had those off. And so I was in the middle of sort of reconfiguring that whole part of the truck. But I really like, this is one of my favorite models that I've done recently, partially because I'm really starting to figure out how to make it look more realistically weathered. It's not perfect yet, but I'm a fan. I got to get some wheels and tires back on that thing soon. So there's some varied examples of what I like to do with 1/25th scale cars. Now let's talk about smaller 1/64th diecast as well. So now we're sitting here in the beautiful interior of Ron, my silver square body. My silver square body parts truck slash maybe not parts truck slash whatever. But like I was saying earlier, I wanted to highlight a shop that's here in DeKalb, Illinois. If you're ever in the area, it's something you should definitely check out if you're into models, diecast, any sort of collectible, you know, scale model car kind of stuff. I brought a couple examples of things that I like to collect. I have a huge collection of diecast cars, everything from Hot Wheels, and this is a fairly recent Hot Wheels from a wagon series. I'm a big wagon guy, so I collect wagons whenever I find them. This is one of the more high-end Hot Wheels cars, but it's still 1/64th diecast. I've also really gotten into M2, Johnny Lightning, Greenlight, all the brands that make nicer, more detailed, high-quality diecast models. This is the square body Syndicate van that's known as Smokebox. Trying to get the glare off there. It's hard to see. There we go. And I picked this one up not too long ago from Brian's Pro Shop and Hobby, which is the store that I was talking about here in DeKalb. So I'm going to show you some footage and some images from inside Brian's shop, because it, like I said, it's really a hidden treasure. If you're into this kind of stuff, you almost wouldn't even know it's there. But once you go inside, you will have your mind blown by the inventory and the kinds of things that he carries. Got to show you a couple of square bodies here too. I just noticed that my GMC here is missing the front bumper. I'm going to find out when I go inside. This, though, is a really great little short bed square body that I recently bought at Brian's Pro Shop and Hobby. So there you go. Great example. I couldn't wait to take that one out of the package. Some of my more collectible ones I keep in the packages, but sometimes you just got to have them out. Hey, one thing I forgot to mention too about Brian's Pro Shop and Hobby is he does a lot of stuff with slot cars too. That's a big sort of featured part of his business there. He's got a huge selection of the plastic models, mostly like 1/24th, 1/25th scale. Great selection of 1/64th diecast, and I already showed you some examples of that, but also really nice selection of slot car stuff. So if you're into slot cars, check him out for that as well. So now this is the part where we transition into some footage that I shot at Brian's shop the other day. I really want to show you what it's like inside that building. And I think, again, if you're into this kind of stuff at all, you will be pleasantly surprised and impressed if you ever stop in there. So let's check it out. So yeah, that's Brian's Pro Shop and Hobby in DeKalb, Illinois. It's on South 4th Street. If you go to kind of the middle of town where Highway 38, Lincoln Highway meets 4th Street and just go south several blocks, it's down that direction. Just such a cool, like I say, place that you almost could drive on past without noticing, which is a shame because it's such a good shop. Anyway, maybe we'll include more model and diecast content on the channel in the future in addition to the full-size trucks. I hope so. Owen, who hasn't appeared in the last couple of videos, hopefully will be back up here to help me out with some future videos as well pretty soon. And Owen has gotten really into building models recently too. He picked up a couple of cool things from Brian's shop, and I know he's been doing some work, so I might ask him to shoot a little feature on what he's been doing with his scale models as well, and we'll get that up soon. So, in summary, as always,